manager at the CLEEN Foundation. The CLEEN Foundation, with the support of the UNWomen, is commencing a project that is tagged Preventing Forced Migration and Trafficking of Women and Girls in Nigeria. So this meeting essentially is the kickoff meeting for us to start the project. And we have brought every one of you together as our key stakeholders, as our partners in Lagos and Edo State, to be part of this project, because going forward from today, we'll be reaching out to us through different interventions. Today's meeting essentially seeks to achieve two things. First, to launch the project. In other words, make every one of us aware that yes, UNWomen, with its implementing partner, the CLEEN Foundation, is implementing this project with specific focus on women and girls. I won't take so much of our time, and then I will leave the floor and welcome the Executive Director, Dr. Benson Olugo, who will just welcome us formally, and then we can take the process forward. You are all welcome. There will be opportunities for participants to introduce themselves. The agenda is on our screen. We would like to know your organization, what is the nature of the work that you do. Very, very brief, in just 1 or 2 minutes, just wrap that up.
I also want to use this opportunity to welcome us, just like Ruth did some few minutes ago. My name is Benson Olubu. I'm the Executive Director of CLEEN Foundation. I want to sincerely welcome each and every one of us. I can see we have roughly about 29 participants. And it's something to be grateful for, that people, despite our busy schedules and the coronavirus pandemic that is affecting everything, we still have time to join us today. So the CLEEN Foundation was established in 1998 as a non-governmental organization with the sole mission to promote public safety, security, and access to justice. And for the past 22 years, we've been on this mission. And we work with different partners. We work with government agencies, civil society, and the private sector. And this is actually one of our flagship projects, which is with the UNWomen. And like Ruth pointed out, it has to do with combating forced migration and trafficking in women and girls. And of course, you know what has been happening in Nigeria with the increase in sexual and gender-based violence. We realize that we live in a society where victims are always seen to be responsible for what may have happened to them. And part of this project is actually to look at the situations where we have forced migration. Why is it that sometimes people are trafficked, and what actually drives this trafficking? You may also know that we currently have a project in Edo State where we are looking at the enablers of human trafficking. What informs individuals who participate in these activities? What informs individuals who try to lure people to become trafficked? And so this project actually also builds on that project that we are doing with the Department for International Development. That's the UK Government Department for International Development. We are very grateful to the UNWomen. They remind us that this is the first time they are doing a project on this scale in Nigeria, and that CLEEN is actually one of their trusted allies. So we want to use this opportunity to tell them that we are going to implement this project to the best of our ability. We're also grateful to all participants that will be part of the program, especially the Ministry of Women Affairs, NAPTIP, Immigration, and other government agencies that we hope will join us in this project. Of course, if not for the COVID, it would have been a big media blast for this project. But be that as it may, we want to sincerely welcome each and every one of us for attending this inaugural meeting. And we hope to be reaching out to each and every one of us as the meeting continues. Please also join us on our social media. Our Twitter handle is @CLEEN Foundation. Also on Facebook, on Instagram, and on other social media handles, so that you can also follow our activities. And also just to remind us, and as I conclude, that we are currently tracking the enforcement of COVID-19 regulations throughout Nigeria. So as I speak, we have 36 state coordinators and 774 volunteers all across Nigeria. You can also be part of this process, because we want a situation where Nigerians are not killed, or we don't go through extrajudicial violence because we're in a pandemic. But we also want to encourage Nigerians to follow the guidelines as provided by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and also the Center for Disease Control. And I also encourage us, please, if we are leaving our houses, we should always endeavor to wear our masks. It's very important. And that we should also ensure that we follow government guidelines in terms of congregation of people. Thank you very much for joining us. And I wish every one of us a wonderful deliberation. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Benson. I'm so happy that you could make the linkage between this new project with the existing intervention that we have in Edo State, which is looking at the role of enablers in human trafficking value chain. Without wasting much of our time, we just follow the agenda, introduction of participants, name, organization, and in 1 minute, just tell us what you're doing around preventing human trafficking with respect to women and girls and migration. Who wants to go first? Hello? Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Yetunde Longe.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, very well.
Okay. Do I put on the video?
Anyone you're speaking, just in one.
Yeah,
minute,
you can put it on just for now, so that we can be sure it is you.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning, please. My name is Yetunde Longe. I'm a Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the State Criminal Investigation Department of the Lagos State. And within the police force in Lagos State, we have the anti-human trafficking section and the gender section, who are basically for crime that involves trafficking. In some cases, which we have been prosecuting, in some cases, we normally transfer to NAPTIP for them to continue with the investigation. But I just want to assure you that all crimes fall within the purview of the police. Our main duty is to prevent and detect crime, and which we have been doing, and we're doing very well at it. Today, when it comes to can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Maybe you begin to wrap up in 1 minute. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just want to assure you that the police is doing its best to ensure that this crime is brought to the minimum level, and at the same time, we continue to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DCP. I see Sadi Momodu. Can we meet you just in 1 minute? I see your hand is raised up. Who else is ready?
Hello.
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 Hello. Good afternoon. Quickly, 1 minute.
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's meet you. Who is speaking?
From the Nigerian Immigration Service.
Okay. Sorry, we didn't get the name.
Money, right?
All right. All right.
From the Nigerian Immigration Service. Yes.
Okay. Okay. You're welcome. Who
Thank
else?
you.
All right. One of the ways we can also introduce ourselves and register our presence is the comment section. the comment section, you can actually type in your name there, your designation and what you do, just 1 or 2 lines around the issues that we are discussing today. Remember, I said it's a project kickoff meeting to introduce our project to you.
Yeah, I can no longer hear what is going on there.
Hello. Okay, Gabriel, can you put up the agenda? Maybe you need to mute every person.
Yeah, please.
Hello. Hello. Can we hear me?
Yes, we can.
One of the ways we can
mute
help
everybody.
this, yes, please, is if you're not speaking, mute the audio button. Yes, and if possible, you can also mute the video. It actually helps the bandwidth. And I was talking about introduction. Comment section on this platform you soon. Sister Florence, can you mute your view to help us? Gabriel, please put up the agenda. Hello. All right. While we are waiting for our guests to introduce themselves in the comment section, let's take good messages from our sponsor, the UNWomen. NAPTIP is here. I'm just going to call. I see Fluvia in the house. Fluvia Clarice, she's the UNWomen representative on the Women, Peace and Security program of the UNWomen. She's a program analyst on this particular project. Fluvia, can we meet you? Please introduce yourself and give us your good message from the UN. Hi, Fluvia. Spia.
Good morning.
Hello.
Apologies. Good morning. Good afternoon, colleagues. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll have to apologize. Fulvia is having some connectivity challenges. I'll just quickly deliver a few remarks.
Okay, please.
So all protocols observed. I know we have a lot of distinguished guests participating today. So on behalf of Comfort Lamti, UNWomen representative to Nigeria, it's my singular honor to be here today at this project inception meeting, even under these circumstances. As you may know, in Nigeria, UNWomen works to support the government of Nigeria, national development and humanitarian priorities and frameworks. The project we're here today is situated, therefore, within the broader efforts to support the realization and acceleration of the achievement of the SDGs in Nigeria. Globally, UNWomen has acquired robust expertise in the areas of forced migration and trafficking, and our work on trafficking starts from the disproportionate impact of trafficking on women and girls, who make up over 70% of persons trafficked globally. Of course, it's also from the perspective that trafficking is both part of the continuum of labor exploitation as well as violence against women. But as mentioned earlier, this would be our pilot initiative in Nigeria. While we've had global and regional expertise in this area, this is our first project in Nigeria itself. Now, this pilot project seeks to address the critical gap and support a gender-responsive approach to preventing and addressing forced migration and trafficking. because it's our belief that while a number of investments and efforts have been made in Nigeria in terms of addressing trafficking, there's been a gap in terms of a gender-responsive perspective, including limited investments being made to date in auditing the protection and other frontline services that are delivered to survivors of forced migration and trafficking. And this is why I think we are incredibly pleased to have CLEEN Foundation undertaking a significant component of this project, which is being funded by the government of Italy. And these significant components include the audit of protection services, engagement with women-led organizations and women rights organizations, as well as sensitization efforts, because prevention is an important and key part of our initiative. So we're also building a number of partnerships with both the Edo and Lagos State key ministries, including the Ministry of Social Development and Gender, the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Justice, as well as the specialized task forces. We're also engaging at a national level with NAPTIP. So it's our hope that this project also will continue to build the partnerships and synergies that we've developed with both state and federal level counterparts, as well as ongoing intervention with our sister UN agencies. So this is just to say, again, thank you very much for the work that you've initiated, and we look forward to the partnership and the collaboration. And I think the participation today is a testament to the kind of convening power CLEEN Foundation has. So we look forward to working on this project with you. And again, just to say thank you to the government of Italy for its financial contribution to the whole project, which part of which CLEEN Foundation is implementing. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussions over the course of the next 2 hours.
Thank you very much, Fluvia. We have the representative of NAPTIP at the national level, Mr. Bori Ogunkomi. He is the Assistant Chief Intelligence Officer and will give a goodwill message on behalf of the agency. Mr. Bori. Are you here, sir? Let's move on. Do we have the Honorable Commissioner for Social Development and Gender, Edo State, Commissioner Maria Ideko?
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, from NAPTIP. Thank you.
Yeah, from NAPTIP, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm representing the Director General of NAPTIP, who is absent. She would have loved to be here, but she's engaged somewhere on national events. And I'll be delivering his goodwill message now.
Great.
I wish to warmly welcome participants and stakeholders to this very important project inception meeting on preventing trafficking and forced migration, organized by CLEEN Foundation and the United Nations Women. CLEEN Foundation has been a worthy partner in the area of preventing human trafficking and forced migration. It is therefore an honor to present this goodwill message at the project inception meeting organized to synergize on addressing menace of forced migration and trafficking of women and girls in Nigeria. As you are aware, NAPTIP is Nigeria's government response to fight human trafficking in Nigeria, established in 2004, and its operations are based on its strategic priorities as categorized under a 5P strategic approach of policy, which includes prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnership. Therefore, the agency's relationship with CLEEN Foundation and UNWomen is part of our partnership strategy to foster collaboration with notable organizations that can assist the agency in realization of our mandate. Forced migration and human trafficking, especially of women and girls, remains a major challenge to Nigeria. This phenomenon constitutes a threat to human and national security and fuels other crimes such as drug trafficking and money laundering. This steady increase in human trafficking and forced migration is quite worrisome despite efforts of the government of Nigeria and NAPTIP. Therefore, we must articulate new and innovative ways to address this common problem, because the role we play in the fight against human trafficking and forced migration is such an important and notable one in ensuring that suspects of smuggling and trafficking do not have a hiding place. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, Ruth, are you muted?
Yes, Gabriel has just done that. I think you should just leave it for me, and you can do for the participant. I don't know if the Honorable Commissioner for Social Development and Gender is here, but we do have the Commissioner for Justice, Professor Yinka Omorogbe. Ma, I would like to hear from you from Edo. I know this is, you might have been caught unaware, but just a word or two from you will really help us to move this agenda forward.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
From my perspective, well, I welcome anything that is going to actively move us forward. I'd like to know more about the program. I mean, I tuned in while the presentation was going on. I'd like to know more and know how exactly it is going to start. I'm not quite sure which of the UNWomen programs this is and whether or not there has been any preliminary meeting on this. I guess that I'm here in my capacity, I'm here wearing two hats, the hat of the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice and the hat of the chairperson of the Edo State Task Force Against Human Trafficking. I look forward to knowing more about the program, and I hope that it's going to positively impact on the work that we're doing in the state. I have to say I'll be sort of in and out of this meeting because I have a meeting on right at the same time, but I will try and get one of my aides to sort of listen in so that she can brief me on some of the things that are being said. So I wish you great deliberations. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Commissioner Ma. We really appreciate that. Yes, we understand that today is a very important day in Edo State as we speak. I don't know if the primaries for PDP has ended, so we can understand that out there a lot is happening and there are meetings in and out. Yes, one of the challenges we had when we were planning all of this is, do we stagger this so that we hold Edo separately or just have a combined one? But the feedback, very good one that came from partners in Edo, is that this can go ahead. It's a virtual meeting in view of COVID-19, and we are very mindful of your time. If we can get just one CSO representative. Now I'm leaving the floor open, just one person to just speak on behalf of civil society. Do we have Warif here? Warif Lagos. Dr. Makonjola, are you here? Gabriel, can you unmute Dr. Makonjola? I can. All right. In the interest of time.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, rather. Good afternoon.
Yes, yes. 1 minute goodwill, just on behalf of civil society representatives that are here. And then we move quickly to the next agenda.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Makonjola,
yes,
Center Manager for WARIF, representing Dr. Kemi Da Silva, who couldn't be here due to our time schedule. I just want to commend the organizers for this wonderful meeting. And WARIF has been working with other NGOs and civil organizations in the fight of against sexual violence. And we've been working in the area of creating awareness in tertiary institutions as part of the UNWomen project. And we just want to commend the CLEEN Foundation for this meeting that they've organized. And we look forward to more meetings like this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a rep from the National Human Rights Commission. I don't know now if it's the HQ or Lagos. Please, can we have just 1 minute goodwill from the Commission, from you? So I see Jennifer Aga, she's from the Commission. You want to give us 1 minute? Please bear with us the challenges. This is a new normal and we all have to just embrace it, network challenges and all of that. But I think we're doing pretty well with time, and we'll go to the next agenda. Jennifer?
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Great to have you. Good afternoon.
My name is Jennifer. Like, I work with the National Human Rights Commission. It's a great privilege to be part of this meeting, and as a commission, like, we look forward to like having positive results, you know, from this meeting. We have been working in collaboration with NAPTIP on the issues of trafficking, and we hope this meeting will bring the results that is desired. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the agenda, we have just a brief on this project. Yes, I hear some of us to say they look forward to the details of this project and how it will feed into current intervention, existing work around trafficking, preventing trafficking for women and girls and forced migration. Gabriel, please, can you put up the presentation? No. Yes. Do you have it in presentation mode, please? Could you put it in presentation mode on your screen? All right, thank you. So our project is titled the Preventing Forced Migration and Trafficking of Women and Girls in Nigeria. The essence is to build resilience, promote sustainable development with the support of the UNWomen and funding of the Italian government. CLEEN Foundation is the implementing partner in Nigeria. Next slide. Yeah, what is the context? I started by telling us that there's a particular focus on preventing trafficking and forced migration for women and girls on this project. Yes, there have been a number of interventions, both at the state level, civil society, international development partners, supporting one way or the other, but we still have the numbers of traffic victims still increasing. A bit of a background is to look at Nigeria continues to be the origin and transit destination for human trafficking. As at 2016, the UNODC, and I think I hear Semiha mention that looking at the total figure globally, you have 71% of trafficking victims that are women and girls all over the world. The IOM puts the figure for Nigeria at an estimated 600% increase between 2014 and 2016. And I think that these numbers should really alarm us. And these are numbers of sex trafficking victims who are arriving from Nigeria to Europe. What are the interventions that have been there? Yes, we have established agencies such as NAPTIP, with their mandate. The police is there, immigration, they all have their mandates around these issues. We have formulated policies at the national and each state, especially the endemic states, Edo, Lagos, which are the focus projects for this, focus states for this project, also have policies that are in place to prohibit and prosecute issues of human trafficking. We've done all of this. So these are some of the efforts. And at the level of NAPTIP, at some point in this conversation, some of us will be selected to just give a little experience sharing on how these issues have been managed currently as we move ahead. So with a particular focus on women, preventing women and girls from being trafficked and forcefully migrated from Nigeria. What is the justification? Why are we interested in doing this project that focuses on just women and girls? Yes, everybody is practically jumping onto the Sahara Desert and taking the trip, the deadly trip across the desert to Libya and all of that. But we are worried that out of this number, the highest constitute women and girls, and not just going outside Nigeria. Within also, we talk about domestic workers and all that. People are trafficked even within Nigeria from state to state. You hear of stories of children, that a large number of children that are intercepted somewhere, and then you are asking, where are these persons going to? Underage children, children that are less than 18, being forced to do one labor or the other, children who should be in school. In terms of the justification, so we have existing laws, we have policies, and these are beautiful because we need to have all of these in place. But if you look at these laws from a gender lens, yes, there are gaps here and there. And that is why those of us in civil society will continue to advocate for the improvement for some of these laws so that they can adequately meet the needs, the current realities that we face in Nigeria. Trafficking, the way we used to have it 20 years ago, is not the same way that we had it. We are having it now. There are new dynamics that are coming on board. There are tactics that are being deployed by traffickers. Just a few days ago, I was reading, I stumbled upon a story that traffickers are now beginning to partner with juju priests in endemic states, Edo State, for instance, and you have them sending the money that would have been sent to them. All of this is in the guise of avoiding the law, you know, EFC and all of that. So rather than a victim paying money directly to the trafficker, they pay to these babalawos who go ahead to transfer the monies down. So we want to look at the laws. They are gender blind. There are gaps in this law. UNWomen has a national consultant, Dr. Eddie. Dr. Eddie will join us in the course of this conversation. He has a meeting somewhere, and there is a beautiful report that he has put together, looking at each of these laws very closely and teasing out where the gaps are in terms of gender insensitivity and how they lack responsiveness to the needs of women and girls when you talk about trafficking and forced migration. So also, the justification for this project also looks at gender insensitivity, protection and shelter services. Yes, one of the fastest way we go about this is that we bring traffic victims brought back to the country, or those who want to willingly come back home. We put them in the shelter, and that ends it. I know there are great efforts by NAPTIP and all other TSOs and shelter providers who are doing one thing or the other to at least provide the minimum living condition and some little services or incentives that can really support people to settle down. But still, all of these still have one gap or the other. I don't know how many of us have read the report that UNWomen has pushed out very recently that looks about the challenges that returnees face when they come back to the country. And we are concerned really that it's not about coming back to the country. How do you also support people to set them up? Returnees have talked about reintegration, that there are challenges for them to come back to the society, that the kind of shelters that they live in, there are some basic things that are still not being provided to them. We commend everyone for the effort that we are doing, but the point is that there are still gaps, and that is why you have innovative projects such as this. Please, the slide before. I'm not done, Gabriel. Yeah, stigmatization issues are there, and then the lack of rights in terms of approaching some of these issues. The way we handle returnees, survivors of trafficking, they have been through traumatic experience, especially for women and girls. And I always tell people that trafficking, serves as a conduit pipe for other sexual and gender-based violence to happen. Clearly on the way to Libya, to Europe, women, the fact that you are a woman or you're a girl, you are seen as a sex object. So rape is a common thing, and you need to hear the harrowing experiences of people who have returned. So there are also, in terms of migration, there are economic push and pull factors why people are being forced away from where they are. We have seen an upsurge of female-headed households when women take up the traditional responsibilities of the household. Somehow they will need to move away from their location to somewhere. Some women, some young ladies will just see it as an opportunity. Let me go out there, to sell my body and make income back home. Climate changes, we have heard about the stories in Lagos, for instance. That is enough push factor to make somebody to leave that environment. Conflict, the peculiar cases of Northeast. We've heard about trafficking even within the IDPs. So these are enough justification and many more why we are embarking on a project that looks at how do we prevent trafficking for women and girls from a policy level. What is the theory of change for this project? We are looking at if gender-sensitive policy environment that addresses the primary and institutional prevention of trafficking and forced migration is in place, and if more focused gender-responsive preventive services at the source location are well designed and effectively implemented, women and girls supported by men, you need boys to be able to support this fight and effectively contribute and implement enabling the gender-sensitive policies and reintegration services, then trafficking and forced migration will be reduced and the barriers to women empowerment reduced in order to encourage inclusive development. So that's the theory of change for this project. Gabriel, can you move to the next slide? Objectives, we are looking at enabling a gender-sensitive policy environment. So this project is not going to be looking at how do you give naira and kobo to women and girls who have returned. But we are saying that in terms of the policies, existing policies that are available, how do we make those policies to be gender-sensitive and responsive to the needs of women and girls that have been trafficked? So in terms of policy and objective, we're looking at how do we enable gender-sensitive policy environment that addresses forced migration and trafficking and increases gender sensitivity, information, and awareness in raising source migration trafficking sites. So the point here is that at the policy level, we are looking at that, but even at the grassroots level, women-led organization, grassroots civil society, they hold the key in the endemic states, Lagos and Edo, for instance, in terms of changing cultural perception on how we can address some of these issues. We want to be able to support NAPTIP in terms of strengthening NAPTIP's gender responsiveness of intervention. So NAPTIP has shelters here and there. How do we support NAPTIP's shelters so that they can provide, gender responsive service delivery to returnees that are housed in such shelters? Project objective to develop and advocate for the adoption of gender-sensitive policy instruments. So we are going to be looking at revising some of the policy instruments that you have currently, and that is already being done by the UNWomen itself, both for Edo and Lagos states respectively. We intend to build the capacity of targeted institutions. Capacity building, you can never
Yeah, Ruth. I think Ruth. I think her network. I think she will be back. And while we are waiting for her, let me see if there is any government agency that joined us that want to maybe say or take things before Ruth comes back. I think it's one of the issues of network challenges we're having. But I'm sure she'll be back to continue from where she stopped. We are currently on specific objectives. But if anybody that would like to say anything, or probably just give a goodwill message while we wait for Ruth to continue, that would be wonderful. Can I also request that we mute our microphones, please, if we are not speaking, so that we just ensure we don't interrupt whatever is going on. So I saw that Fulvia had come in as we were speaking. I know Sina had said one or two things for her. But if Sylvia wants to take the floor and also reiterate the support of the UNWomen during this program, that would be helpful. If there's also any government agency that joined us while Ruth was speaking, please, you may have the opportunity to speak while we'll get Ruth back into the system.
Good morning to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Fulvia, we can hear you live and direct. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had a connectivity problem too, so I came a bit late. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Fulvia Clerici. I work for UNWomen, and I'm very glad to be in this meeting presenting our implementing partner, CLEEN Foundation. But as I'm sure CLEEN and Semia has already underlined, we have our biggest partner is also Edo State, so I'm glad also to see the Commissioner of Justice and key government stakeholders. Just briefly, NAPTIP is also a great partner for UNWomen. As you may know, we are going to develop a gender policy for these law enforcement agencies, and it's a key in the fight of human trafficking, but also from the gender perspective. So my little message is please to all stakeholders present here to see this project as interconnected to you all, because we need the collaboration of the national level, the state level, Edo State, CSOs, and also law enforcement agencies. This is the key really to make this process success. Thank you.
Thank you, Fulvia. Thank you very much for that goodwill message. And I know we all have these network issues, so it's understandable. Is there any other person, probably from government or from civil society, that will give a goodwill message? We try to get back onto the system.
Want me to talk? Just
Lasisi,
just lost
the gender desk.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you live and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm standing in for DCP Margaret Ochala, the gender coordinator and advisor to the IG. Hello? Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. Okay. We can hear you. You are very loud.
On behalf of DCP Margaret, I want to commend the organizers of this meeting and particularly the UNWomen for sponsoring this. I will believe that we're going to have a fruitful deliberation as the meeting is ongoing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other government agency that wants to say anything in support, or maybe you have a question to ask while we continue from where we stopped? Okay. Please, Ruth, whenever you come, just let me know. Ruth. Okay, please go ahead. Over to you, please.
Okay, sorry. That's the reality we need to deal with, but I'm round up now.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Yeah, so project specific objective, one of which we're going to enhance the capacity of women stakeholders to advocate for against forced migration and trafficking. Next slide. Yeah. So all of this, I'm still going to share a panoramic view of the project activities that we are looking to achieve, mostly at the policy level, and also looking at assessing from a gender perspective the protection services that are out there. But all of this will contribute to two project outcomes. We've talked about the gender sensitive policy environment at the end of the day, looking to revise existing laws. Then second outcome we're looking to achieve is increased gender sensitive information and awareness in the source location for this project. In the source location for this project, and how to contribute to the prevention of further trafficking, forced migration of women and girls. Next slide. Gabriel, next slide. Yeah, so for those of us who are interested in what does this project entail, after this meeting, we have consultants who will be working with us in terms of developing instruments for a gender audit tool that we can take to the field. The field here is those protection services that are being delivered to returnees of trafficking that are out there. So we want to go and assess all of these services from that gender perspective. How responsive are these services to women and girls that come back to the country? And then when we come back from the field, we are looking to validate whatever we have found. So we are going to be calling us together again. This is going to be state specific. So Lagos will be holding, Edo will be holding, and then for the validation, the same methodology we equally apply. When we get the feedback from you, we're going to have a public presentation, putting together all of your comments and suggestions on how we can make the reports to be strong, and then doing a public presentation of a harmonized audit report, what we have found out there in terms of gender revision of these protection services. I talked about capacity building, so there will be capacity building. The outcome of this gender audit assessment is going to inform development of tools and manuals for training of different stakeholders, mostly drawn from law enforcement, legal referral centers, National Human Rights Commission, civil society, selected civil society that are working in this space, are going to take part in all of this so that they are aware of the need to, in terms of how you are approaching some of these issues, we need to do that from a gender perspective. Advocacy, after reviewing these laws, we are hoping to embark on a number of advocacy with the state government, state, national assembly, the Lagos State Assembly, Edo State Assembly, have advocacy with them. We can get all of this, how they can buy into our suggestion, our recommendation in terms of strengthening the laws that you have out there from a gender perspective in preventing further migration and trafficking of women and girls. Capacity building, we've talked about that. Town hall meetings, radio show, documentary in schools. Sadly, young girls are still being trafficked, and these are girls who are supposed to be in school. So we want to be able to catch them young on this project. Who are our partners? And this is not limited to this list. NAPTIP, the National Human Rights Commission. A lot of us, I see us here, and I really, really want to say thank you. And in the midst of your very busy schedule, you have made time to be part of this meeting. Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs, Social Development and Gender, Edo State, the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants, and IDPs, the Federal and State Ministry of Education, and the two states, Health, Youth and Sports, Justice, IOM, key UN agencies, yes, because that synergy has to come in, what each of the UN agency is doing around preventing trafficking of women and girls. We want to be able to synergize all of these together. CSOs that are here represented, yes, you are key partners on this project. Referral center, shelter. Gabriel, move to the next slide, and that should be the last one. What are our expectations? So this is a new project that's just starting. So we need your technical support. We are not claiming to know everything on this project. So from time to time, I'm the program manager, colleagues in CLEEN Foundation will be reaching out to you. Provide us your technical support in terms of what you're seeing and how this project can best deliver within the objective and outcome we have set for ourselves, how we can all work together to deliver on this. Constructive participation, and I'm looking forward to hearing from some of us on this issue today in this meeting. And of course, after this, the consultant I talked about, we'll be reaching across to some of us, provide on assessing services you're giving meetings. So this is the new normal. We have to be going virtual. But at some point, when the restrictions on COVID-19 lifts in Lagos and Edo State, we will all come together and have our meetings the way we normally have it. We need your participation in advocacies, awareness creation, and capacity. NAPTIP cannot be working in isolation, and the police, immigration, and all of that. Let's all come together and work as one. That is the end of my short presentation. And thank you so much for listening. So we'll be updating you on the Gabriel. Gabriel, agenda. So do we have quick reactions on this presentation? Very short presentation. We don't intend that it is going to be a very technical meeting. I know we are aware of people's time, but if there are quick reactions, we are happy to take them. Hello? Anyone wants to contribute? Are there reactions? Okay.
Yeah, Ruth, I think I've seen some government agencies that are here. Mm-hmm. For example, I've seen somebody from the immigration. Probably we may just, if it's possible, to give them 1 or 2 minutes. Probably they can also help us with what they are doing and how the project will align with their own activities as government agencies. But if anybody is not ready to say anything, that's fine. But I think it's important we give opportunity to government agencies that are with us. Probably they may have 1 or 2 things to say in terms of what they are doing and how this project aligns with their own objectives as government agencies. I mean, as TTPIs.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I see Joyce Ngozi raising her hand. Professor, are you also raising?
Yes.
Yes. Please, can you hear me?
Okay, let's
take
Professor Yinka, then we'll come back to you.
Okay. Okay.
Prof, sir.
All right.
Prof.
Okay, thank you. I would like to say that a lot of work has been happening in the area of anti-trafficking work in Edo State, and I'm not yet clear. I'm not clear yet how you're going to feed into our work. Like I said, I've been in and out, so I don't want to. I think that the lack of clarity is, or the clarity will become, I will be clearer when I have actually read what you have, but I still am not clear how you're going to feed into our work, because we are already doing a lot with the migrants at very many different levels. So I think maybe at state level, it is important for the people to actually connect with the people doing the work, and that is to connect with the actual anti-trafficking agency, directly, and then you can see how you can improve improve our outcomes with us. We're very, very happy to have partnerships. So I think that is, you know, what I would say. We're very happy to have people who will assist with our actual programs. So that is where I don't have clarity. Do you have somebody in Benin?
Yes, we have a colleague in Benin. Yes, yes.
Who's?
Blessing
Okay.
Roman. She's also here in this meeting. Yeah.
Okay, I have never set my eyes on the person who is in Benin. So I think that is in fact a disconnect. I don't know if the person in Benin has ever come to the task force and talked to the secretary or anybody there. So it will actually mean that you do not know the work that is happening in Benin.
No, our office is virtually a new office in Benin because originally we've been operating from Lagos and Abuja. But when we started the project on Soto, we had to open up an office. So I promise is that she will definitely come to see you and then introduce herself so that we can continue the conversation.
Okay, so you're already doing work with Sotin. You're working with Sotin, you said?
Yes, we're a partner in that Sotin project. We're actually collecting data with the local government on enablers of trafficking. And that has been going on since last year. The project has been on since last year. So it also fits into what we are doing now in terms of forced migration and trafficking in women. So we are partners with Palladium and other BBC Media Action and other organizations that are basically working in Edo State. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, Ruth, who next was supposed to speak?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello,
hello, have I been recognized?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know either you're Professor or Dr. Joyce Ngozi Opera. Please go ahead. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good day, Dr. Benson, and good day, participants. Well, Dr. Benson, we happen to worship in the same church, All Saints Church, Anglican Church.
Oh, pardon me.
As you well know, don't worry, that is a discussion for another time. You all already know my name, Joyce Ngozi Opara. I am the head of Migration Division, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. So apart from providing protection assistance, care, and maintenance, as well as durable solutions to asylum seekers, refugees, and IDPs, the Commission also have the mandate to coordinate all issues relating to migration in Nigeria. So as the coordinating agency for migration issues, we are always available to partner with you, whatever you are, so long as it has to do with migration management. So let me use this opportunity to commend the organizers of this online conversation. Say thank you very much, and I wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma. And sincere apologies. I can see your face now. Initially, I was just looking at the people who are there, but thank you for the opportunity. I know there's somebody else wanted to speak. Is it Lucas Koyejo? Please, can you go ahead? Yeah, Koyejo, please go ahead. If it's just like your name, please just take it that I'm referring to you. Go ahead.
No problem. Thank you. I'm the State Coordinator, National Human Rights Commission, Lagos State. So we actually want to commend CLEEN Foundation. We've been partnering with CLEEN Foundation for a long time on projects, but I will personally say this is a very laudable project. We will be pleased to partner with them in everything to make it a success. So thank you very much. We'll be expecting to hear more about this project. We've seen all the screen that have been shown to us, and we know that National Human Rights Commission will be able to feature more in this, because ours is to promote and protect human rights. And we know that forced migration, trafficking, and everything that is connected with it as serious human rights violation. So we have been key partners of CLEEN Foundation and NAPTIP in Lagos, and we will continue with the partnership. Thank you very much for this project.
Thank you, Lucas. And we also look forward to collaborating with the National Human Rights Commission in Lagos State. The National Human Rights Commission has been a good partner of our organization for a long time, and we're also happy with the sensitization program that took place all over the Federation last week, coordinated by the National Human Rights Commission in terms of preventing sexual and gender-based violence. So that's a good one from you, and we hope such activities continue to bring to the front burner the issue of gender-based violence. I can see Victoria La. I can also see Comfort Sani. Victoria La, you want to say something? Please, if you have said anything, you can just put up your hand that is up so that we know those who still want to say something. Money writing, your hand is still up. Do you want to say anything? Lauren Oganeke, Daniel, your hand is also up. Sani Momodu. Sani, do you want to say anything? Comfort, Sani. Your hand is also up. Do you want to say anything? Okay, Lauren,
yes,
yeah, go ahead.
Comfort, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Go ahead. Good afternoon.
I want to appreciate the organizer for putting this meeting together. I'm representing the Zonal Commander, NAPTIP Lagos Zonal Command, who is unavailable for this meeting. In my opinion, this project is at the right time. First year in the new decade, I'm looking to doing things differently. I believe partnership and collaboration is key. And for us at NAPTIP, we have always partnered and collaborated with both state and non-state actors at the national level and also at the zonal level. I believe that understanding our roles and committing to this project at the end of the day, we'll be able to achieve much more than we are looking to achieve in the interest of our persons of concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sani Momodu, do you have anything to say while I hand over to my colleague Ruth? I think I've seen her back online now. Ruth, can you continue with the conversation? Thank you.
Yes. Any other contribution from participants?
Hello.
So I see hands. Sani Momodu. Yes, we have you.
Yes. Yes. Hello, can you hear me? Yes,
yes,
can you hear me?
Please.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Sani Momodu, and I'm the State Coordinator of the National Human Rights Commission. My colleague just spoke regarding the relevance of this meeting. And I want to add to that, because this kind of work should not be left alone for NAPTIP. It requires the collaboration of everybody. And I also want to add that the returnees, more emphasis should be placed on the females, because I believe they are more vulnerable than the male. So we need to work together with NAPTIP, and in fact, NAPTIP needs to be strengthened. It is being overburdened by the work it does. So I just want to call on everybody present to collaborate with NAPTIP and assist in any way possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I hear collaboration. Lauren Ogeneke Daniel, your hand is still up. Hello, Lauren.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I listened to the project brief, and I want to say I work with Girls Power Initiative, an NGO in Benin, and I want to say it's a very laudable work. We've also done into preventions of human trafficking by sensitizing girls and as well as boys in schools. We are currently doing that in Akoko Edo local government. And so in case you guys will be working in those areas, you can collaborate with us.
All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Lastly, Sonny Duko-Kosun. Sorry, we don't know if you're a chief or professor. Yeah, can we have you briefly? Sorry, sincere apologies.
Thank you, Ruth. Can you hear me?
Very well, very well.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just a mister, and I work with ITV Radio Benin. I want to thank CLEEN Foundation for the opportunity to be part of this conversation. I'm very happy because of the timing. Of course, you know that in Edo State right now, what is at the front burner is the elections. And then being able to have this kind of meeting and get critical stakeholders to be part of it is in the right direction, because it means that we can also help to we focus some level of attention to the issues that relates to trafficking, all the atrocities there, so that we can help to take action to reduce it drastically. I can see quite a reasonable number of people that I've had interactions with over the years in terms of what I do and what they do, for us to be able to have a common front and then achieve so much. So I'm looking forward to also collaborating with CLEEN Foundation and other, NGOs and stakeholders geared towards this common cause of reducing human trafficking. I mean, the statistics that you read out a while ago, they're mind-boggling. And you will think that with all the efforts being made, what we report in the news, what we do in our programming by way of interviews and stuff like that, a lot is being done. It looks like what we are doing collectively is still not significant enough to make that kind of impact that should be made for us to have the kind of result that we want to have. So your project is quite laudable, it's commendable, and I'm looking forward to us deepening the conversations, partnering with you guys to be able to do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Patricia, Sister Patricia?
Yes.
Yes, ma, thank you.
Okay, am I heard? Can you
yes,
hear me?
Claire. Claire.
Okay, yes, I just want to get in my word of appreciation, joining the others for this commendable, activity holding this. I want to commend CLEEN Foundation very much. And then I also want to commend and say a big well done to Ruth for that presentation. The presentation was very comprehensive and a lot of it touched me, and I seized on this expression. Sadly, our young girls are still being trafficked. And when it came to that, I just said, not just being trafficked, they are being destroyed, they are perishing in the sea, and so much is happening. So this is why I'm particularly grateful that you've invited us to partner with you, because I strongly believe that networking is our strength. And because of that, we are willing to do anything to network together to see the end to this terrible. It even was almost like this pandemic we are talking of. It's as destructive and as terrible as that. So let me not take the time of the others. So thank you very much, and we are willing to cooperate in any way we can.
Thank you so much. Ijoma, she's been waving. She wants to make an intervention. Ijoma, yes. After Ijoma, we'll take Chigozie, who is representing the Edo Task Force. Ijoma. Gabriel, can you unmute Ijoma?
A very good afternoon to all the participants. I'm so happy to be one of you this afternoon. My name is Mrs. Ijoma Oduak. the zonal commander, NAPTIP Benin Zonal Command. I've been eager to say something since, I don't know, the meeting was too long. But I want to commend the organizers of this meeting. I want to thank you so much for your support so far. I want to let you know that we have been having a very good working relationship with CLEEN Foundation here in Edo State. Edo State Task Force too. Thank you very much, the Attorney General, for your good partnership and collaboration in fighting this menace. I want to use this opportunity, since we are talking of prevention. Let us please bear in mind on 30th of July, World Day Against Human Trafficking. Please, CLEEN Foundation, I want to use this opportunity to ask you maybe do something, plan a program, even if it is a road walk or market sensitization. Let us create awareness that day. Please know the date, 30th of July.
Noted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Yes, you're very correct. 30th of July is World Day Against Human Trafficking. And we can have further conversation after this, no promises, but we can take the conversation forward after the program. So we have Mr. Chigozie, who represents the Edo Task Force Against Human Trafficking. Your hand is up. Can we have you?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I want to thank CLEEN Foundation for this laudable project that they're about to start. We know that Edo State has been facing this challenge for quite some time now. And the past 3 years, the task force has been working with other agencies to see that this is in check. We welcome any kind of partnership. We don't know the challenge of trafficking in person. There is not something we wish for our country. We want to thank CLEEN Foundation. Possibly the task force have said something about what we've been doing in Edo State. We want to also welcome this fight. We want to welcome any partnership at all. We welcome. I want to thank everybody that participated in this meeting, and thank you.
Thank you very much. I will just take one more person, Oluwabori Ogunkomi. Yeah, can we have you? Just 1 minute. We need to begin to take the conversation forward and end of this. Oluwabori.
Yeah, thank you very much. I quite appreciate the concern raised on the need for NAPTIP to collaborate with relevant stakeholders in fighting the menace of human trafficking in Nigeria. I'm happy to inform you that my Director General is so passionate about collaborating with the stakeholders in addressing the challenge of human trafficking in Nigeria. And if there is anything that my DG is also passionate about, is to make sure that the rights of these children are taken care of. As you are aware, NAPTIP is the federal government the federal government agency responsible for the fight against human trafficking in Nigeria. And since inception, we have rescued over 20,000 victims of human trafficking, some of whom are still undergoing various forms of rehabilitation in our shelters. We have about 9 shelters in different zones of the country. NAPTIP is strategically positioned in such a way that, we have shelters in all the geopolitical zones, at least part of the geopolitical zone of Nigeria. And as you are aware, sexual exploitation still remains the #1 form of exploitation for external trafficking, while for internal trafficking, labor exploitation is most common. The sexual distribution remains the same as more females are trafficked both internally and externally. In fact, the figures we have in our agencies between 2014 to date suggest that about 31.2% of males are trafficked, while about 68.8% of females are trafficked. This is just to buttress the point that there is need for us, NAPTIP, and the relevant stakeholders come together in order to address these menace, most especially that of the female, because they are more vulnerable to the activities of human trafficking. So I'm so glad to be here, and I'm sure that my DJ is also passionate about this. Just some few weeks back, my DJ was with the Inspector General of Police just to discuss about how the issue of human trafficking, can be tackled frontally. So I believe that with what is being put in place by the CLEEN Foundation and the UNWomen, a lot will be done in addressing this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. One of the things, two things, in fact, is the fact that, yes, we are assured of your partnership on this project, that will call on you anytime we are having any of our project activity or the need for us to visit your shelters, as the case may be. Your doors are open, and that is what I hear clearly. And then two, issues around human trafficking and forced migration, and this is just an attempt to answer Professor Yinka Omorogbe, is that a lot has been done over the decades. A lot has been done, but yet you still have these numbers increasing. What it means is that we need a multi-dimensional approach to addressing these issues, not just at the state level. Civil society, international development partners, everyone contributing their effort through different approach to try to address these issues. For Edo State, which is always on the radar, in terms of the number of persons that are coming out of that state, women and girls especially, a lot has been done. And we do recognize that, yes, interventions are ongoing. And the Executive Director of CLEEN Foundation also mentioned that we have one currently that is being supported by DFID, and that is just looking, it's a research-based project, looking at the role of enablers. You know the stories that are happening, especially at the rural areas in Edo State, in Lagos State, for instance. We are very keen on hearing or getting to know what has been the interventions related to policy revision that have happened in both states, so that we are also contributing. What CLEEN Foundation is doing is not a project in isolation, and I think that strongly. We want to be able to feed into the national work that is happening. NAPTIP is a key stakeholder that we have to work with, and one of the objectives that I highlighted there is that we want to support NAPTIP in terms of providing gender-sensitive service delivery. So if NAPTIP has shelters, how do we ensure that those shelters are providing services that are responsive to everybody that comes in contact or are housed in such shelters? The VAP law, for instance, we are still battling with the issues of limited jurisdiction. Edo State has domesticated that law, but there are still challenges. If you take a comprehensive look at the law, you still have gaps here and there. This project is not intended to solve everything, but I think that we need to all begin to look at this as a cause that not just one stakeholder is going to be able to address it. It's not just the federal government or just the state government, but what are the contribution of grassroots women? GPI in Benin, for instance, they do a lot of work around these issues. Warif in Lagos, and every one of us that is here represented. How are we all coming together? Synergy is one of the things we want to be able to create on this project. So as we're doing this, we are keen on hearing from you, what are the things that you have done? And how do we improve the existing interventions there in terms of further preventing women and girls from being trafficked and forcefully migrated out of the country and even within the country? I think that is just an attempt to answer Professor Yinka, and if there is any other person that is interested in this. Our office is relatively new, but my colleague, she's on this call. I don't know if she can chip in. She's had one or two interactions with one or two staff of the Edo Task Force. Yes, I know when we just started the office, one of the things we encourage that is that there are key stakeholders that you need to reach out to in view of the project that we are doing in understanding the role of enabler. So conversations definitely need to go beyond this platform, and we welcome all of that. I look forward to having a session with the commissioners, the relevant commissioners, Edo Task Force on what has been done. and how does our tool, our gender assessment tool, improve on the status quo, improve on existing services, and prevent further trafficking of women and girls. I will end there. But to ask, are there any other burning question? Is there anything that we have not addressed on this meeting as we try to begin to round up? The UNWomen is here. Semiha, I don't know if you have one or two contributions to make to the discussions we've been having so far. Partners have signified their interest to support this intervention, and that is really very important for CLEEN Foundation. The police, HQ, and the state level, they are all here well represented. Do you have any contribution? Hello, Samiha. Samiha. Or Fluvia. Fluvia, I see you.
Yes, Ruth. Yes, I think now it's our turn to having connectivity problem.
Okay, I think it's widespread. So Fluvia, do you have any contribution to all of this?
Yes, I just want to follow you and highlight how much is important collaboration. As I also said before, I mean, this is multidimensional problem, human trafficking worldwide. So there's key government stakeholders, law enforcement agencies, NAPTIP, all CSO, women's-led organization has to create a collaboration to tackle the problem. And as UNWomen, on behalf of UNWomen, we are very glad to start this project and also very open to listen from you, to get your all input from all the stakeholders to this meeting, to learn and also make this intervention meaningful and effective. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you very much. We do have a commissioner from Lagos here represented, or the commissioner in person is here. Sorry, I don't know. Olushola.
Yes, please. Good afternoon, all.
Yes, good afternoon, ma.
Yes, this is Olushola Shomoye.
Yes, please.
I've been asked by the Honorable Commissioner, Mrs. Adefisayo Folashade, to represent her at this meeting. Unfortunately, we were hosting the birthday of the governor in our neighborhood, so I'm just been privileged to come on board right now.
Okay. Thank you. Would that be all? Okay. I give the floor to my executive director to just give us his final shots, parting shots on the way forward. Remember, we said after this meeting, the next thing on our agenda is coming up with an audit tool with which we can assess protection services that are existing in Edo State and Lagos State there. And then in terms of capacity building, which will happen at a much later date. But our key focus in the immediate is the gender audit. So we'll be calling you all together, and I thank you so much for your expression of solidarity, your expression of support, and we do commend the work that you have been doing. We all need to work together collaboratively to end this scourge. I personally believe, I'm from the South Side, and I believe strongly that we can end it. So your contribution, my contribution at all levels can all be collapsed into ensuring that forced migration and trafficking of women and girls ends in Nigeria. And Nigeria can, improve on the indices that you have in terms of the global slavery index worldwide. Thank you. I hand over to the executive director.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ruth. Thank you for managing the meeting despite the usual technical problems, internet and timeout. But I think I must confess that it was a good meeting. We want to thank everybody who participated, the commissioners, both in person and representatives of NAPTIP, the Ministries of Women, of Justice, of Education, UNWomen. We're so grateful for your participation. Also, the Italian Embassy for supporting this project. Other government agencies, the Nigerian Police Force, Civil Defense, civil society organizations, members of the religious groups, especially the sister who is here, and the Ministry of the Commission for Refugee. Thank you very much, all of you, for making our time to join us. And if I also the National Human Rights Commission, you remember that CLEEN was awarded the 2019 Human Rights Award. And so we're very grateful for the National Human Rights Commission for that recognition. Currently, we're also the civil society representative for the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee. We're there for the next 2 years. So issues bordering on administration of criminal justice, we are ready to work and partner with government agencies, security agencies, government agencies and the private sector and civil society organizations. Thank you very much. The conversation starts now, and we hope to collaborate more with each and every one of us. And please, when we come to knock at your door, please endeavor to open the door. We will be wearing our face masks and also we'll be maintaining social distancing. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I wish each and every one of us fruitful deliberations in all that we're doing. Please stay safe. And remember that coronavirus has not gone. The numbers are still increasing. But I'm sure that God will protect all of us. Have a wonderful day. And God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. So the invitation letters that you have my number. Reach out to me if there's anything you want us to do together. I have your contact, so as we move along, I'll be calling on us on where we can participate. I'm keen on getting to know the CSOs that are providing shelter services. So I will reach across to you after this meeting. There is housekeeping information which our colleague in the finance will want to share with us.
Thank you, Ruth. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Justina Johnson. I want to use this opportunity to thank you once again for being on board. We really appreciate your presence, and we also thank you for assuring us that you will always be there for us on this project each time we knock on your door. I just want to quickly tell you that some of you must have received terms of reference sent to you concerning this meeting before the meeting. If not, maybe after this meeting you will get it. Please, all what we just want you to do for us is to fill it, sign it for us, and provide us your account details. We understand that you are partner with us on this project, and we also want to at least support the time you have taken and the data you have used to be on board. It's not much, but it's just like part of our documentation for this project. So we appreciate if you sign and send back to us as soon as possible. Thank you very much for being part of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Justina. So our project is launched. Usually in a physical meeting, we do all the paparazzi, but COVID-19, we have launched this project virtually. Thank you very much. And do have a very good afternoon. I'll be getting across to you. My name remains Ruth Olofin, Program Manager at CLEEN. Thank you.
And then